I know. Watching me look down is real interesting TV. So, Christmas is come and gone. Get anything good? Yeah. Anything worthwhile? You know? I got some gift certificates to a local eatery here in Kingman, and it's a couple T-shirts, and not a whole lot. It's just one of those quiet days. Hey, Jason. Yeah, he got some new cameras. I got a new microphone. Okay, so I bought this new microphone weeks ago, but still, it's a nice microphone. Oh. Can't believe it's the end of the year already. Doesn't seem like it. I've got my application in for Smallville for my table. Yeah. Next year's gonna be kind of rough. They're changing my hours at work. I'm not gonna be working nights anymore. So there's a good chance I'm probably gonna have to change, when I record stuff. So, we'll see. It's not gonna happen until after February, after the start of the fiscal new year. But so some changes are coming. So let's get down to a new episode. This won't be long. Episode recording today. Trouble with recording an episode at the end of the year. There's not a huge amount of news that comes out right at the end of the year. Everyone always tends to put out stuff remembering the last year, looking forward to the next year. So there's just not a lot of news. So be it. So I dug as far as I could, and found some good news. So let's load this up. And my notes. Got my stream deck already. Pause. We'll go. Tonight, it's the end of the decade, but, well, would work better if I hit record. Oh well, false starts are better than no starts. And it's better than getting through the episode and then realizing you hadn't pushed record. That sucks. Alright. Tonight, it's the end of the decade, but not the end of the news on this edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello everyone, and welcome to the last episode of the year. I would add of the decade line, but I haven't been broadcasting all decade, so, well, we know. I could have just gone ahead and just not done a new episode. I even contemplated, but, a lot of vacations take the break between Christmas and New Year's, but it's just not me. I'm just not the kind of person to want to take a break, even though I probably should. I would like to thank you for listening to my words today. 2020 looks like it's going to be a busy year. Lots of new movies, new show ideas, in the offing and so forth. Who knows? Maybe in 2020 I'll create a second podcast. I don't know when I'd have time for that, but of course, you could always help me out with this podcast by showing me some appreciation by donating money, tweeting me out, etc. Let's just resolve to have a good 2020 and be sure to think about your decisions, whether, at home, in the voting booth, anywhere else. And let's get on with the news. And thanks to the Marine Corps band for the music right there. Star Wars news. I'm going to admit right now, there's not really a ton of Star Wars news right now. Most of the news that comes out about this time is things about in and around the Rise of Skywalker, which I haven't seen. So I'm kind of avoiding the spoilers right now. I'll be seeing it, but just not till after the first of the year. But there are a few good news items. To start off with, since it's a new year, and you might want to drink a nice cocktail to celebrate. How about a cocktail from the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal? The actor shared a picture of a green cocktail with 2 lime wedges for ears and what looked like prunes for eyes on Instagram with the quote, "To getting through the holidays with a little bit of force. Good luck, everyone," unquote. Now, what his cocktail has been made of is, well, anyone's guess, and there are probably a few dozen permutations of a Baby Yoda cocktail on the internet. One version served at the Golden Tiki Bar in Las Vegas, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, has rum agricole, demora syrup, and fresh lime juice, finished with a spritz of absinthe and Luxardo cherry eyes and lime wedge ears. He has a sense of style. He's got a bar napkin jelly robe tied with a piece of twine and a bar straw lightsaber. So, if you want to try one, I guess you could fly to Vegas or figure it out yourself. Drink at your own risk. It could be evil. And speaking of the child, I bet you think the lack of merchandise is particularly evil. Well, blame Donald Glover for the lack of merchandise for Baby Yoda. The Mandalorian star, creator Jon Favreau, says that a conversation with Donald about Beyoncé during the Lion King remake convinced him to be more reserved. Speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, he said, quote, "We were talking about music and pop culture, and he was saying that what people really like now is to be surprised, because it doesn't happen that much. When Beyoncé did an album, she would just put it online and everybody would react to it. Just putting it out there spurred a conversation that would become more viral and bring more genuine attention than any marketing," unquote. Now, Disney right now is going full speed ahead with merchandise for the character named the child, including dolls, Funko Pops, and t-shirts. However, the slowness to get on the sales bandwagon might have cost Disney around $3 million or so, and they've made that in a couple of hours of showings of the Rise of Skywalker, and it's not like Disney's hurting for money. By the way, Pre-orders for the Blu-ray of The Rise of Skywalker are available right now, including a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray set of the entire 9-film saga on 27 discs that will retail for $249. No release date has been officially announced, but it's guesstimated to come around the end of March. Now, you may have noticed in the Rise of Skywalker that Kelly Marie Tran's Rose Tico was barely in it. Now, don't believe, the haters online that say her character was disliked and that's why she's not there. Instead, it was just a matter of her original role in the film being cut down. Chris Terrio, the writer of The Rise of Skywalker, explained to Awards Daily, quote, "Well, first of all, JJ and I adore Kelly Marie Tran. One of the reasons that Rose has a few less scenes than we would like her to have has to do with the difficulty of using Carrie's footage in the way we wanted to. We wanted Rose to be the anchor at the rebel base where Leia was. We thought we couldn't leave Leia at the base without any of the principals whom we love, so Leia and Rose were working together. As the process evolved, a few scenes we'd written with Rose and Leia turned out to not meet the standard of photorealism that we'd hoped for. Those scenes unfortunately fell out of the film. The last thing we were doing was deliberately trying to sideline Rose. We adore the character, and we adore Kelly, so much so that we anchored her with our favorite person in the galaxy, General Leia," unquote. Never fear, fans. The Mandalorian will be back. Creator and showrunner Jon Favreau has confirmed on Twitter that the Disney Plus series will launch in the fall of 2020. Rumors are that several established Skywalker saga characters will make appearances on the show. Now, let's get some Star Trek news. Now, the only reason for me to get CBS All Access is almost here. Star Trek Picard is just a few days away, and there'll be plenty of supplementary material to go with it as well. The comic book series is out right now, and in February comes the book Star Trek Picard, The Last Best Hope by Una McCormack. Much like the comic book, there is another prequel to the series, and this will introduce some of the characters that we'll see in the show. Now, no word on the exact plot of the book, but it will be out in just 3 days before my birthday on February 11th. Hint, hint. Buy me stuff. Nah. Anyway, meanwhile, that other show, Star Trek Discovery, might be closer to its 3rd season premiere than we first thought. Sonequa Martin Green, speaking with Radiotimes.com, said of the 3rd season, quote, "It's definitely coming up, 2020, and I would venture to say closer to early 2020 than anyone. But yeah, it's going to be incredible. I can tell you that. I think it's a stunning season. That's why it's so stirring to me, in like this moment right now, to talk about the beginning. That's what is so interesting to me, to be where we are now, but to know where we came from. And I really think we did what all shows should do, and got better with age, and got better with time. It's really quite gripping to see where we've come and how we continue to build and grow to higher heights and deeper depth." Unquote. Season 3 sees the Discovery now in the far future, where there'll be no tribble at all with established continuity. Pocketbooks is looking back at the untold era between the motion picture and the Wrath of Khan, with Star Trek The Higher Frontier by Christopher L. Bennett. The novel also connects to the original series episode Is There in Truth No Beauty, and features Dr. Miranda Jones and Medusan Ambassador. Here's the blurb, quote, "Investigating the massacre of a telepathic minority, Captain James T. Kirk and the crew of the USS Enterprise confront a terrifying new threat, faceless, armored hunters whose extra-dimensional technology makes them seemingly unstoppable. Kirk must team with the powerful telepath Miranda Jones and the enigmatic Medusans to take on these merciless killers in an epic battle that will reveal the true faces of both enemy and ally. Unquote. The novel will be out on March 10th. IDW has released the Star Trek comic book listing for comics coming out in March. First up, they introduce us to the Mirror Universe Con. Wait, wouldn't that be Knock? Knock! Nah. In Star Trek Hell's Mirror, not only do we receive a return to the Mirror Universe, we are shepherded by J.M. DeMatteis, who is returning to the Star Trek universe for the first time in 40 years. His last contribution was the final issue of Marvel's Star Trek series back in 1982. Here's the blurb. Legendary writer J.M. DeMatteis returns to Star Trek for the first time in nearly 40 years, and it'll be well worth the wait as he tackles two of the franchise's most popular concepts, Khan Noonien Singh and the Mirror Universe. Unquote. The book has art by Matthew Dow Smith and retails for $4.99. Also, from IDW is Star Trek Year 5, issue number 12, written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, with art by Stephen Thompson. Now, here's what it's about. Quote, "At last, the moment you've been waiting for since the first page of issue number 1. With a villain revealed, a stranded crew, and the ship on a collision course with total destruction, Captain James T. Kirk will have to face the biggest challenge of his life on his own. Written by showrunners Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, this is a perfect jumping-on point before the second year of the series begins. It'll retail for $3.99. You can pre-order, let me say unquote. You can pre-order these and, of course, other comics from My Comic Shop and Things from Another World. We have links to those in the affiliate marketplace on the homepage. Now, not often do I get to speak of he who should not be named, but American President Donald Trump has created the United States Space Force when he signed the new defense budget into law. The newest branch of the military will be kind of a hand-me-down right now, with a small staff of 200 military and civilians, mostly U.S. Air Force, and will be under the aegis of the Air Force Department with a budget of $40 million. Tech entrepreneur Elon Musk seemed to praise this development by saying, quote, 2 words, Starfleet begins, unquote. You know, I hate to tell you this, Elon, I don't think exploring space is what these guys exactly want to do. However, if they could, take care of all the garbage that's circling the planet right now, that would be a big help. Anyway, May the 23rd will be a special day in the city of Bloomington, Indiana. A few episodes back, I told you about the fundraising campaign to get a monument erected in Bloomington, celebrating the fact that the city will one day be the future birthplace of Captain Catherine Janeway. The Captain Janeway Bloomington Collective met its goal of $12,500 and will be receiving a matching fund from the Indiana Housing and Community Development. So, on May 23rd, just 3 days after the fictional character's birthday, a bust bearing the likeness of Kate Mulgrew's character will be unveiled in downtown Bloomington. The bust will be on a limestone base shaped like the Starfleet Delta and include an informational tablet about the captain of the Starship Voyager. And that'd be kind of cool to actually, see. However, I don't think, that's in my budget. Anyway, let's get on with some geek news. Viacom CBS now owns a 49% stake in Miramax. They bought it from Miramax owner, Qatar-based BN Media Group, for a total of $375 million. Viacom CBS will pay $150 million upfront, and the rest will be $45 million a year for 5 years in funds to produce new films and TV projects. Paramount will get an exclusive long-term deal for Miramax's back catalog. President and CEO of Viacom CBS, Bob Bakish, in a statement said, quote, Miramax is a renowned global studio responsible for some of the most iconic films of the last 3 decades, including Pulp Fiction, Good Will Hunting, Kill Bill, and more. This partnership with BN will be a unique opportunity to gain access to a valuable library, deepening our already substantial pool of IP at a time when demand for premium content is only accelerating. We look forward to working closely with the Miramax management team as we explore new ways to deliver its titles across a variety of platforms and create new, compelling projects, unquote. Now, if they want to personally make me happy, release all of Kevin Smith's movies in high def. That's all I want. Oh, well, and new Pulp Fiction copy, I guess. You know, it's the end of the year, and that, of course, means lists. Lists and lists and lists. Now, Forbes has released a list of the highest paid YouTubers, and, well, that's not me. That's not my friends over at Sci-Fi for me. You know, give them a try. Did you know we have a YouTube channel, by the way? Anyway, the number one on the list was Ryan Kaj, the 9-year-old kid behind Ryan's World. He has 22.9 million subscribers and has made $26 million. Now, I wonder how the new FTC rules will affect his channel, since I'm guessing most of his views are from kids. Now, also on this list is Dude Perfect, Anastasia Radzinskaya, and PewDiePie, among others. Now, PewDiePie is apparently taking a break from YouTube and has also quit Twitter. Maybe he's decided to look at the world outside of just 4 walls. Uncharted has possibly lost another director. Director Travis Knight might be leaving Uncharted based on the video game series of the same name. Travis made his directorial debut last year with Bumblebee. Now, insiders are blaming this possible exit on scheduling issues, as actor Tom Holland has a Spider-Man movie that will be due out in July of 2021, and that production might push Uncharted back away from the December 18th, 2020 release date. Tom Holland, of course, will be playing Drake in Uncharted, with Mark Wahlberg co-starring as Drake's friend Sully. Now, The Rise of Skywalker has done very well at the box office, posting the second biggest domestic Christmas day ever, and it's reached over $500 million by the day after Christmas. So let's take a look at the box office report and see what we got right now. So, this is what I forgot to pull this up. Anyway, for this past weekend, let's start down here at number 10. Number 10 is Richard Jewell, which has fallen from 7 to 10. Bombshell fell from 6 to 9. Now, here's what I want to point out. Cats. Last week, number 4. This week, number 8. It's only domestically grossed $17.8 million domestically. Right now, Cats is looking to lose $70 million. Yeah, this thing is a big bomb. Uncut Gems is number 7, up from number 15. Knives Out just dropped 1 space from 5 to 6. New this week, Spies in Disguise shows up at number 5. Little Women debuts at number 4. And that's very good. Frozen 2 stays steady at number 3. It's grossed in domestically $421.6 million. It's up 30% over last week. You know, I'm guessing that this is people going to this, after they've seen Star Wars. Jumanji, the next level, has gone from number 2 to, has stayed number 2, I should say. It grossed in last weekend $35.3 million after after previously being up there. Hold on a second. There we go. It's up 33.2% over last week. Again, I'm assuming this is people, they've seen The Rise of Skywalker, so they're going to go see something else. So it's gotten $175 million domestically. Now, of course, we gotta point out that the number one, of course, is The Rise of Skywalker, which domestically has grossed $362.1 million. That's an average of $16,000 per screen. And that is dropped 60% from its debut. So even with a drop of 60%, it's still doing well. Now, internationally, worldwide, the film, let's see here. By the way, number one film in China is IP Man for the finale. And in Australia, it's Jumanji. Anyway, domestically, let's see, internationally, worldwide, $725.5 million for episode 9. Yeah, but it's still got a long. It'll never reach Avengers Endgame before the end of tonight, but still pretty good. I'll wonder what what's total will be altogether. But anyway, since we're done there, let's take a look from going behind to what's coming in 2020. On my birthday, it's February 14th, will be Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I've got a list here. Coming out at the beginning of the year is The Invisible Man, the live-action remake of Mulan. The new James Bond movie will be April 8th. The SpongeBob movie comes out on May 22nd. The new Pixar movie Soul comes out June 19th. Ghostbusters Afterlife on July 10th. And Bill and Ted Face the Music comes out August 21st. There's a new Godzilla vs. King Kong movie next year on November 20th. There's a new Sherlock Holmes movie on next Christmas. So, it looks like a good movie year next year. Yeah. Oh yeah, the new Dune film comes out December 18th. That will be a really interesting thing to see. Anyway, enough kind of rambling here. That does bring us to the end of another sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. Now, be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter at MultiverseTom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as Multiverse Tonight as well. And if you'd like to contribute some money, please visit mtpodcast.com to go to our Ko-fi or Patreon as well. And be sure to visit multiversetonight.com and check out our affiliate marketplace links, the link to our TeePublic store, show notes, and so much more. And if you're a subscriber, please be sure to share us with your friends. And if you're brand new to the show, thank you, and be sure to subscribe. And if you want, leave us with some feedback. Let us know how we're doing. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for our intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 days next year with the comic book edition. Now, please, exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half Baked Genre Productions. For the last time this year, copyright 2019, all rights reserved. Alright, pause the recording there. Take a moment here, take a drink. And get set up for the comic book edition. Well, not bad. It'll be, it was actually pretty close to where we've been, about between 20 and 30 minutes. I so underestimate myself sometimes. Yeah, I really should have. Little things. You forget little things. So. Don't want to burp on microphone. That's very gauche. Yeah. Want to see something cool? Captain Cupcake. It's about a Captain Cupcake pop. Sue me. I like Captain Cupcake. Twinkie the Kid, Fruit Pie the Magician. Anyway. We got some Deadpool 3 news coming up in the next part here. Let's get this all set up here. All right. And push record. Tonight, it's a new year and a new decade, but the news rolls on in this comic-filled edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode for 2020. Yeah, let's have a little Old Lang Syne here. I bothered to download this, so I might as well use it. Well, as I said, welcome to 2020. It's nice to have you here. How was 2019 for you? Did you read anything good? Did you watch any good TVs or movies? Are you ready for this year? Me, personally, I'm at a point in my life where just everything just runs together. Years, months, days. It's only when you look at the big picture do you see how much it all changed. Now I know a lot of podcasts do retrospectives of and stuff like that at this time of year, but it's not me. Go forward with the news. Let's turn off the Marine Corps band here. But I'm looking forward to 2020. I just put out my application for Smallville later this year, so I'll be there. I'll be at Planet Comic-Con And, you know, who knows where I'll go to this year or where I'll end up. You know, we don't know the future. We can't tell the future. You know, we should only look at the past. We should remain right here in the present. But anyway, let's get on with some comic book news. Now, starting off with news out of DC Comics, Watchmen. It was a pretty great show. It held my attention. What can I say? But, something that we never did get in the show was a cameo with President Robert Redford. The actor became president in the Watchmen universe after Nixon. Apparently, showrunner Damon Lindelof did leave the door open for a cameo, but it just wasn't to be. Lindelof told Collider, quote, "We wrote Robert Redford a letter describing our intention with his usage in the show, and also what our general sense of what Watchmen was to us, and an incredibly high esteem in which we hold him both as an actor and a purveyor of the arts, and also as a prominent progressive liberal who shares many of the same ideologies with a number of us behind the scenes, and we left the door open in that letter should he choose to respond to it, that we would invite him to come and play on the show if he were game. He's a very busy man, and he has yet to respond to the letter, but hopefully one day we will cross paths, and that door will always be open," unquote. Unfortunately, right now there are no plans currently for a second season. So, maybe if Robert says yes, maybe I'll spur them to make a second season. Of course, personally, I think the show stands well on its own as a one season play. Well, speaking of shows that won't get another season is, Lucifer. However, congratulations to the show are in order, as the show has been named #1 on TV Time's most streaming series list. The list is based upon global data from the app's users, and it beat out Stranger Things, 13 Reasons Why, The Handmaid's Tale, The Umbrella Academy, Black Mirror, and a bunch more. Lucifer's final season is currently in production. Todd Phillips, director of the mega hit Joker, wants you to keep an open mind when it comes to the origins of the Joker. Quote, "There's many ways to look at the movie. He might not be Joker. This is just a version of a Joker origin. It's just the version this guy is telling in this room at a mental institution. I don't know that he's the most reliable narrator in the world. You know what I'm saying?" Unquote. Now, Phillips has said that in Joker's Vision and Fury, one of the featurettes on the home video release, in other words, there's no defined Joker backstory. It's whatever the Joker feels like it is. Now, Mark Hamill is also thankful this season. Sure, not for the Rise of Skywalker and the end of the Skywalker saga, but for the role that's just as famous. Mark took to Twitter and tweeted out a few Joker-centric images with the tweet, quote, "I can't tell you how much one single role has meant to me. Because of him, people recognize the gleeful psycho within. Because of him, a new career of megalomaniacal villainy opened up, and I was able to frighten young children. I will be grateful for that forever. Hashtag being the Joker," unquote. To some, he will always be Luke Skywalker, but to others, he will forever be the Joker. DC's Jeff Johns is teasing some Green Lantern news that is coming in the near future. Speaking with Newsarama, he said, quote, "It's a really exciting year to have Doomsday Clock finished up. I'm doing more comics, Stargirl's trailer's out, Wonder Woman's is on the way, and a lot of work with Green Lantern outside comics that hopefully you'll hear about soon," unquote. So, what could this Green Lantern project be? A Green Lantern Corps movie? Green Lantern the series on HBO Max? Perhaps? Whatever it is, remember, no animated suits, just green. The only thing that should be animated are the Ring's creations. Got that? Black Panther star Michael B. Jordan was asked by MTV News if there was any truth to the rumors of him playing Superman in the future. The actor responded, quote, "I've been rumored to play Morpheus to Superman to Power Rangers and everything in between, so it's like I'm kind of used to the rumors. I'm playing something. But anything that I do dive into has to be done the right way. It has to be full of authenticity," unquote. Now, Michael is a big fan of comics, and Variety has reported that he doesn't want to commit to playing Superman when he has so many other projects on his plate. So I guess, we'll just have to wait and see. In a tweet this past Saturday, David Ayers confirmed that Suicide Squad would have had more of a connection to Justice League with an original plot element involving Enchantress had stayed in. It was supposed to be a boom tube that she was under control of a mother box. Quote, "All the apocalypse-sick elements were stripped out late in the game. The machine concept was an attempt to create a ticking clock and world threat," unquote. Now, do you think they should have kept the boom tube in instead of that huge, machine that she was building that we had no concept of what this machine was going to do? Maybe the boom tube would have kind of solidified the plot a little more, or maybe it wouldn't have done anything. Who knows? I really don't know how to feel about this next story. Let's just barrel on ahead. Okay, you may have figured out that in the past few episodes, I don't really care for Robert Pattinson. He just doesn't work for me as an actor, and his casting as Batman in Matt Reeves' The Batman is... Well, Mr. Pattinson recently did an interview with The Guardian, where he revealed how sick he was of questions about the movie, and that he just wanted to get down to filming already, saying, quote, "I'm already remembering what it's like to talk about a movie where there's an expectation. Whenever you say anything, people are like, 'Argh, you idiot.' Like, dude, I haven't even started yet," unquote. Now, when the interviewer pointed out that having this role is a lot to live up to, Pattinson said, quote, "But there is no harsher critic of myself than myself, so I don't need to worry about anyone else," unquote. Now, when asked if he might do what he might do if the movie totally bombs, he giggled and shot back, quote, "Porn, but art house porn," unquote. I'm conflicted. I don't know if I'd rather see him do porn or not. He might be a terrible porn actor as well. Anyway, DC has announced that Superman issue number 19, the first since Superman revealed to the world his secret identity, will be pushed back a couple of weeks from January 8th to the 22nd. Issues 20 and 21, however, are still on schedule. The New York Times best-selling authors Shannon and Dean Hale are writing a new graphic novel for young readers. Diana, Princess of the Amazons, will look at the pre-Wonder Woman life as Diana as a young girl on an island with no children. Themyscira, after all, never had any children on it, just strong warriors. The book has artwork by Victoria Yang, who's a veteran of animation and will be making her debut for DC Comics. Shannon has always been a fan of Wonder Woman growing up with the character, and even has driven a minivan with the Wonder Woman logo on the hood. Now, Newsarama asked the couple when they chose to do a story about her as a child, or why they chose to do a story about her as a child, and Shannon replied, quote, "We were fascinated with the idea of growing up as the only kid in your entire world, and that's just not something we'd seen explored very deeply with Wonder Woman. Yes, she's an Amazon, and she's incredibly strong and has a sense of justice, and is one of the most powerful superheroes, and we've seen her relationship with her sisters on Themyscira. But what was it like before that? What did it feel like to be the only kid? Given that we were writing these books for younger readers, I thought that was something kids would really be really fascinated with. Imagine being the only kid in your entire world, and then imagine that everyone else is an immortal, perfect warrior. How do you find your place there? That's where we begin." Unquote. Diana, Princess of the Amazons, comes out on January 7th. Now, let's look at some Marvel news. Ryan Reynolds, appearing on Live with Kelly and Ryan, confirmed that they are currently working on Deadpool 3. He told the host, quote, "Yeah, we're working on it right now with the whole team. We're over at Marvel Studios now, which is like the big leagues all of a sudden. It's kind of crazy, so yeah, we're working on it." Unquote. So, I'm guessing same Deadpool with access to the MCU? Maybe? I guess we can always hope. Kevin Feige is backing off the idea that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is a horror movie, telling the New York Film Academy that, quote, "I wouldn't necessarily say that's a horror movie, a horror film, but it'll be a big MCU film with scary sequences in it," unquote. Now, he also confirmed that some new characters will also be debuting in the movie as well. Quote, "The next Doctor Strange film, for instance, features some new MCU characters which will be making their debut in that movie. You won't expect and won't guess who it is, but we found a cool way to make it work, because we want to make a particular type of movie there, and there was a character who we always wanted to do something with, who will fit really well there," unquote. So, who it will be is still a mystery. Now, at the same event, Feige also was asked how Marvel determines which characters will make the jump from the comic book page to the big screen, and his answer was contained a little bit of news. Quote, "Sometimes you're choosing the title hero. You're choosing which main character or main team you want to bring to the screen, and oftentimes, as you're making and developing the movie, you ask who will come into it, who will fit into it. Like Shang-Chi, we've wanted to make that movie for a long time. We want to make a movie with a 98% Asian cast. And then you talk about, as you develop the movie, what other heroes can you bring into it, if you need them. And in the case of Black Panther in Captain America Civil War, it was the greatest thing that had ever happened," unquote. Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings will star Simu Liu, Awkwafina, and Tony Chung-Wao Ling, and will lead off Marvel Studios' offerings in 2021. Marvel's What If series will have a longer season than any other Disney Plus Marvel show. WandaVision, The Falcon, The Winter Soldier, and all those all have 6-episode seasons. But in a new interview with BuzzFeed Brazil, Kevin Feige revealed that What If will have a 10-episode first season. Quote, "I'm very happy that we're doing the What If series for Disney Plus right now, and I've seen most of them. We have 10 for season 1, and we're already working on the next 10 for season 2, he said. "We've revealed one that is very exciting. We've talked about it for years, which is the one where Peggy Carter gets the super soldier serum and becomes Captain Carter. That's the very first episode, and I'm excited for people to see that. I'm excited to see the finished version of that, and I'm excited for the world to see it. What If is based on a comic series that we've loved for years, where they take a storyline, and change one element and see how things could get different. So the 23 films of the MCU that are going to showcase one little difference in each episode and see how things change," unquote. The show will be narrated by Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher and feature an all-star cast from the Marvel movies, but be prepared to wait. We're still about 18 months away, as it will premiere in the summer of 21. James Cameron does what James Cameron does. And he seems to be certain that his Avatar sequels will break the current all-time global box office record set by Avengers Endgame. He told USA Today that, quote, "I think it's a certainty, but let's give Endgame their moment and let's celebrate that people are going to the movie theater. I don't want to sound snarky after I took the high road by offering congratulations, but they beat us by 0.25%. I did the math in my head while driving to work this morning. I think accountants call that a rounding error," unquote. So let's ourselves take a look at this math. Avengers Endgame made $2,797,800,564 globally, being out Avatar's $2,029,450,992. Now that's a difference of $768,349,572. James, that's more than a rounding error. That's nearly $1 billion. Avatar 2 is coming on December 7th of 2021. So I guess he'll have plenty of time to, hype us up for that. Now, let's go on with some geek news. Valiant Entertainment is getting back in the video game biz. This time, the company is joining forces with Blowfish Studios to do games based on Bloodshot and Ninjak. Now, the last time there were video games based on Valiant characters was back in the mid-90s when the company was owned by Acclaim Entertainment. Valiant is hoping for a bit of a renaissance next year. They have a movie based on Bloodshot starring Vin Diesel that's set to open on February 21st. They also are working on a Harbinger movie and a TV series based on the comic book series Quantum and Woody. So I guess go to Comixology or your comic book store, buy some Valiant comics and get caught up on what those characters are. I barely remember them myself, so I guess we gotta get on that. Facebook and the Pokemon Company are launching 2 Pokemon games on the Facebook gaming platform. Pokemon Tower Battle is available worldwide right now and has players stacking Pokemon to create towers, kind of like Jenga. The other, Pokemon Medallion Battle, is a digital card-based strategy game, but right now is only available in the Asia-Pacific region. So I guess we gotta collect all the Pokemon games. Now let's take a look forward to this year in comic book movies. We're going to have to wait until February 7th for Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. As I said, Bloodshot will be out on March 13th. The New Mutants, which should have a new trailer any day now, will be out on April 3rd. Black Widow comes out on May 1st. Wonder Woman 1984 on June the 5th. July 31st, we'll see Morbius. October 16th, we'll see G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. And November 6th, we'll see The Eternals. Have you seen Kumail Nanjiani's physique that he's built up for that movie? Man, he's jacked. Anyway, we got some sad news to close out the show. Comic creator Gary Allen Guilin has passed away. Alan Guilin is best known as the inker on titles like Wetworks, X-Men, Superman Birthright, Wolverine, and Fantastic Four, usually alongside penciler Lionel Francis Yu. He also has created several books of his own: Johnny Balbona, Humanus Rex, Elmer, Timawa, and Where Bold Stars Go to Die in his native Philippines. Marvel editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski tweeted about him, saying, quote, "Another wonderful person taken from us too soon, an amazingly talented writer and inker, mentor to young artists, and advocate for global comics, the comics world, and the Filipino art community, lost a friend and a hero today." Unquote. Now, the cause of his death has not been disclosed. Gary Allen Guilin was only 54 years old. That unfortunately, will bring us to the end of the comic book news for this episode. Now, be sure to check us out on our social media. We're at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute to get us to more Comic Cons this year, please visit mtpodcast.com to go to our Coffee or Patreon as well. And be sure to visit multiversetonight.com to check out the affiliate marketplace links, the link to the TeePublic store, and our show notes, and so much more, the occasional column. Now, if you're a subscriber, please be sure to share us with friends. And if this is your first episode to the show, welcome. Congratulations. Now, be sure to subscribe. Now, and if you want to go over to a podcast, thing and leave us with some feedback, let us know how we're doing. I really don't get a lot of feedback, but, I like to think that you're there, listening. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for our intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching the comic book edition of Multiverse Tonight. Now, we'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new sci-fi edition. Now, please, exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2020. All rights reserved. Now the only thing that's left is the editing, which luckily I don't think there's really that much to do. It's really, cutting silences here and there. That's kind of why I do the show this way instead of, like, I've seen some people who do the show who do their show in chunks. Oh, Jason left. Who do the show in chunks, and well, that's just not me. I'm not a chunk show writer. Anyway, I'd like to thank you if you're catching this on YouTube or Twitch for coming in, watching. As I said, leave some feedback. Subscribe to the channel. All those things. Just trying to stretch it out because we're about 10 seconds away from exactly an hour. So I'd like to say thank you and good night.